Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Orange Juice, News and Notes from around the world of Insoles. I am your host, Owen Kenoy, and back with us as frequent contributor, co-host, co-owner, all world, everything, my mom, Marsha. Hey, Marsha.
Hi, Owen. How are you today?
Good. Honestly, so the Pistons are in the playoffs, Detroit Pistons, and they did lose game one, but I was channeling my inner PA guy, master commentator, the guy who does the Pistons games. He's been there for 25 plus years, and Marsha knows the guy I'm talking about. But at 6'5", you're a starting shooting guard. Anyway, hey everyone, welcome to the podcast here. We are going to be talking about feet, health and wellness, standing, that sort of thing, maybe what you would expect, but just wanted to do a nice, fun little intro for you. Today's episode is focusing around bad foot habits that maybe you don't realize that you have, and we're going to talk about how to fix them. So nothing we're talking about is like super crazy that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I could never fix that, like my life is over. But if you kind of go down this checklist, be like, hey, is this something that I struggle with? There are some super simple fixes that we're going to give you to feel better and do more, which is our slogan, and we like to stick by that.
Yeah, I feel like everybody has one of these couple topics that we're going to cover today. Even when I was glossing through the topic and what were some of the solutions and foot habits people have, and it was like, wow, you're right. Someone will connect with one of these today. I guarantee it. So with that,
Yeah.
Owen, I think you're going to kick us off.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is the very first one we're going to talk about is something that I am unfortunately guilty of, but something super simple that isn't a great habit for your foot is wearing shoes for too long. Whether that's, wearing the same shoes all of the time or wearing them past the point of them being in their prime, so to speak. But what happens is when you are wearing your shoes, slowly over time, support starts to break down in the shoes, the support systems and the cushioning really more than anything. So people may not immediately notice the discomfort. It's not like you're just going to put on your shoes one day and they're just going to hurt. But slowly but surely, you'll start to notice a little more aches, a little more pains. One thing that I think about is when I was working at Playmakers, and obviously you're helping people get fitted for new shoes. So often people would put on the new shoes and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like more than anything, I just needed new shoes. Like these feel great. So it's kind of like you don't know until you put on that fresh pair and you're like, oh my gosh, this maybe was not a good idea to wait so long. So what can you do about that? Simply pay attention to how your shoes are feeling at the end of the day, not just maybe first thing when you put them on. So kind of take inventory. We've talked about how aches and pains can be in your feet, but also your knees, your hips, your lower back as well. So if suddenly you're reaching the end of the day and you have some more aches and pains, maybe just stop and think about like, hey, how long have I had these shoes, and is it time to replace them? So when possible, replace them if you've decided, hey, this is necessary. Also, just to help extend the life of the shoes, and this is something that I think we mentioned even just in our very last episode, but make sure you rotate them when possible. So let's say you have maybe your favorite pair of work boots. Getting a second pair of boots that you can wear to work and switching them off is going to help keep them fresh, but also for you, not have the same boots that you're standing on the exact same way, that sort of thing, which we'll talk about again a little bit more. So
One other thing too, Owen, if I recall, we kind of follow this guideline with insoles for your shoes, but it's also a guideline for shoes. But if you're someone like a postmaster who walks all day, or someone who can count their steps or the length of time that you're on your feet, we recommend 600 miles to before you switch out your shoe. Or if you're always wearing them all day long, it's 6 months is always a good checkpoint as well. Obviously, you know best, but I just always put a little reminder in my calendar when it comes to insoles. Every 6 months, just kind of stop a minute, double check them, check the wear and tear on the bottom of the shoe that I'm wearing them in, especially my workout shoes, because I'm usually in a tennis shoe all day. So I just wanted to tee that up as kind of like a time frame, maybe to take a peek at, have I outwore my stay with my shoe?
Yeah, really great point just as to like when to check in. And with that said, you don't want to necessarily just rely on putting insoles in like an old broken down shoe. but adding an insole to your shoe absolutely can help either one, extend the life of the shoe if you still are early on, because it is absorbing some of the shock that your shoe and foot is experiencing more so than the traditional insole that's in there. But then also just as you go on throughout the course of the day, your feet are going to get tired, and having those insoles in your shoes are going to help significantly. And then again, just help you as the shoes are going through those latter stages of their career, so to speak.
And so the other thing too is another one of our bad foot habits is ignoring early pain. So when you start getting pain in your feet, brushing off those aches, oh, this is normal, no big deal. I would just stop and pause. And one thing I would definitely rely on is AI. You know, tell AI, what are you doing wrong? Like, where's the pain coming from? Maybe something you've done recently, extra hours at work, overtime, extended my length of time on my feet. Had to, walk a lot at work today. We did inventory and we unloaded trucks and, whatever it is, tell AI what it is, where it's hurting. And it's a quick fix on maybe getting you a solution. But one thing that always seems to pop in mind, for me anyway, as a quick solution is stretching. Stretching the bottom of your feet, stretching your legs, stretching, your calves, all of that can help. And then the one thing that I always forget about, and as soon as I do it, I'm so glad I did it, is ice. Ice the bottom of your feet, ice your calf, ice your knee, whatever it is. Get, 12 to 15 minutes, get a solid bag of ice. I highly recommend. That's a really good solution, but just ignoring it is an easy thing we all have a bad habit of doing. So just paying attention when your body's telling you something. And, if you've got your phone, quickly grab Chat GPT, grab what is it called? Gemini is the other platform. And then it's easier to fix something earlier than later. So just staying on top of it and listening to your body. So
Good way to put it too is I like to think of like the car analogy. So if you start to hear your car making funny noises and just ignore it,
out of
eventually
alignment.
you might end up with a big bill at the mechanic. But maybe it was something like you were low on a certain fluid and just needed to replace that fluid to maintain the engine or whatever, but you didn't, and now the engine, cough cough, your feet now is not in a good space. So you can think about it that way too.
Yep. Thank you for that.
So the other thing too that people make a mistake on, and it's not to say that cushioning isn't good, but assuming that cushioning is like the end solution, or even that cushioning equals support, is a mistake that people are often making. So like, hey, I guess I'll call out like Skechers is one I hear about. Like, hey, I have these Skechers. They're really nice and cushioned and super soft, and they fit me well. And that's probably like 2/3 of the puzzle, is that they are soft and cushioned and that they do fit your foot properly. But then what people aren't considering is that kind of third piece to the puzzle, which is the support. So as we talked about, your feet either get out of alignment naturally, because that's just the anatomy of your foot, which is something we've discussed a lot in the past or just on a few certain episodes. Or even your feet just start to get tired throughout the day and need some extra support in the shoes. What that support is in the amount of like insoles, for example, would be our arch support and deep heel cup. So it is helping keep your feet in alignment and thus reducing the stress on the muscles in your lower body. So that's something to consider as well. There are also certain shoes, mostly running shoes, that you can get fitted for that will also have support features, but largely like your standard, a lot of other shoes don't have that.
I agree. I love stepping into a super cushion type platform, but I also know that's just not going to do anything other than the moment.
And it could be a good option where it's like, hey, I'm just gonna run to like the grocery store or whatever, and I just want to like throw something soft on that feels good on my foot, and you wear them around, or you wear them around the house, and like there are good opportunities or like good times to just have that like cushion. But in this case, a lot of the times people are putting more wear and tear on their body and do actually need that support.
It's a bad habit for sure. So another one would be is this kind of habit. I think a lot of us, when we start thinking about it, there's some time of the week we're standing for a long period of time. You know, whether you're, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you're in retail and you're at the counter, or you're on your feet all day. And in retail at the counter, you're standing there scanning stuff. Grocery counter, construction worker who might just be building something, standing in place for long periods of time. Medical community. You know, there's just a lot of people who have a standing job all day long. So one thing with that is, you know, it's very common also for people to stand on hard surfaces, and that can also add to the bad habits of the damage that you can do to your feet and your body and alignment and that type of thing. So with that, some solutions, if you are running into standing all day and you're starting to get aches and pains and that type of thing, a way to be proactive against it would be just considering your posture. And when I say your posture, you know, no, do you have to stand up with your shoulders back straight up? No. When you're standing for long hours, you need to be a little more relaxed, and you just got to think about stacking yourself. So stacking, you know, my head over my shoulders over my hips, hips over my knees, but I'm not locking in my knees. I'm leaving things kind of loose. I'm putting my weight, I'm distributing it evenly. I might be, if I have an opportunity, I might be able to step side to side a little bit, just keep moving in the moment so you're not standing there completely in place. Another thing too might be, if you're someone who has to stand a lot in the same place, is ask your employer, could I get a cushion mat? Something that could give your relief instead of a hard surface. That relief really gives some give to your joints and that type of thing. And then another one is just when you get a break, stretch. Take a moment and stretch it out when you have a long shift and long hours. That is extremely helpful. And then I would say when you get home at night, take a minute to elevate yourself. You've been on your feet all day. It's okay to get off your feet. So elevate your feet 10 to 15 minutes, crack a beer, freaking kick back, complain about your boss, whatever you got to do, get it out, and get your feet up for 10 to 15 minutes. And then, you know, the thing you probably don't want to do is take a short walk because you've been standing all day. You're like, I've been on my feet. But just a short, quick 10 to 15 minute walk, maybe after dinner, is ideal, just to get your body kind of moving and get the stiffness out before you're going to go sit down or go to bed at night. And then I would say when you are in bed at night, one of the other things that you can do to give your legs relief is put a pillow between your knees or under your knees. However, if you lay on your side, you'd put them between your knees. If you're laying straight up, you'd put them under your knees. Anyway, that just gives your knees a little more release, not leaving them locked in, and just more relaxed through the night. So it's just another solution for if you're standing all day, it's hard to not get bad habits when you're locking in your knees, standing there, and just not getting the right kind of flexible posture. So, Owen?
Yeah, it was funny because as you were explaining, like, hey, once you're finished with work, it's okay to come home and like put your feet up. I was like, man, you're taking me right back to the Playmakers days. And then you're like, and then complain about your boss. And I was like, oh, wait, that was dad. No, I didn't complain about dad. No, I really did have a good time at Playmakers, but I was like, oh, wait, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't say that reminded me of back in the day
No,
anymore.
you can just complain about me every day now. That's okay.
Yeah, something like that. But building on that, obviously there are those times where you just have to be standing or, kind of positioned the same way. Like we all understand that. But maybe just think about like, hey, is there maybe 5 minutes in an hour where I can do my job just sitting or just kind of taking a break off my feet? Obviously, it's okay to like, speak to a manager or supervisor and be like, hey, my feet are really hurting me by the end of the day. Is it okay to sit? Or like, hey, what can we do? Like, is there anything we can do to help? Another thing I like is like, let's say you're just like having a meeting and you don't necessarily sit down or you're having a quick conversation. Taking a walk while you do that and just stretching the muscles in your feet that way and working them differently really can help as well. So yeah, when possible, try to move around more like Marsha was saying, but also even if there is just like that small chance to sit down, that will help. But transitioning into a another, I guess, bad habit, definitely a bad habit that people have that goes right along with standing, and it's just kind of not doing yourself favors, is when you're looking at shoes, considering more about like, hey, how do they look, or like I want them for this reason or that reason, but are you actually thinking about how they fit, how they support your feet, and are they going to be appropriate for the activity you're doing? So don't simply pick a pair of shoes because they're cute or because they have just like a brand that you were told good things about or is in right now. Pick something that is more based on like the activity you're doing. Look at potentially adding insoles if your shoes aren't going to have extra support. But one easy way to kind of look at the support in your shoe is you can do kind of like a flex test with your shoe. So you can take it, if you can kind of just like bend it and like twist it and turn it or bend it in half, that's going to indicate that it typically doesn't have very much built-in support. Also, if it's just like super thin and is like more of a flat, that's also another giveaway that usually it doesn't have as much support. So just being conscious of like, hey, what shoes am I picking out, whether that's at the store for your job or your new activity, or I guess same activity you've been doing, or whether that's at home, picking it out from your closet as well. That's important.
I'd say too is when you go out, sometimes it's okay to bring two pairs of shoes. So you might have a nice function. It's like, yep, I got to wear the shoe that has no support, but it looks good with my outfit. And then swapping it out as soon as it's over for your long 30, 45-minute drive home, have your other pair in there and, not wear those painful squished. I have bunions, so I worry about all the tightness in shoes. So, or after golf, get out of the golf shoes after, you've worn them for the whole 4 or 5 hour round and, slide into some Birkenstocks or something else. But I would
You know what
think
else that
ahead
made me
to,
think of, Marsha, was sorry to cut you off, but it made me
no,
think of doing the same thing like at work too, if possible. Like wear one pair of shoes in the morning and then
yep.
switch over to another in the afternoon to just kind of like freshen up the feel underneath your foot. And I know I've said this several times already, but start working different muscles in your feet. All of that really can help.
Well, that's what that other cabinet drawer is for, right? The filing cabinet. Stash some shoes in it.
Hmm.
We used to
Or just
always
tuck
do
it
it.
right underneath your desk or in your locker or whatever.
That I did at corporate office. We all stashed that stuff. Oh, candy too. We had little snacks. We had our shoe change for the train. All of it. Yep. All right. What's the next one, Owen?
Um, just one, I guess, general one is a mistake people make is just being inconsistent, where, maybe you just aren't stretching or you aren't wearing the proper footwear, or like, maybe you have a full day of wearing like shoes that don't fit you well and are really bad. That can really set you back. So it's not about being perfect, but it's just about being consistent as possible on all of these habits, and hopefully building towards just healthier feet and less fatigue at the end of the day more than anything.
Yeah, I thought this is a really good topic. It's very short and sweet, but these are just, 5 different things people just aren't thinking about that can be bad habits that could turn into good habits. And, just spending some time getting ahead of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So to really just summarize, most foot pain isn't just from one big thing. Well, I guess it can be, but a lot of the times it's from several different things adding up. So it is important just to look at, like, hey, do I have the right pair of shoes? Hey, am I giving my feet a break after a long period of days? Or, after a long day? If I'm standing for long periods of time, am I able to like switch it up, or like go on a quick walk, or sit down for a few minutes and take a break, or even switch my shoes halfway through the day? Are there things that you can be doing to help be more consistent with your foot health and build these better habits? So as you listen through this, hopefully a few things stuck out to you. I'm sure at least something did, but incorporating a few of these things into your routine hopefully will amount to just, again, less fatigue at the end of the day and you feeling better. And maybe it is you now coming home from your job and you're like, hey, I do feel pretty good. I'm going to hop out in the yard and plant these couple of flowers, or pull some weeds, or take my dog on the walk, or Marsha's doing a motion that appears to be mowing a lawn, which I'm actually looking out my window and need to mow my back lawn. So that's the idea. Just break things down, think about your feet, and see what you can do to help yourself out. So we'll absolutely be back with another episode, honestly several more episodes about foot health and wellness. So thanks so much for listening to Orange Juice, and we'll catch you next time.